So we put our thumb drive in that has our files. We're gonna go to the start menu, select NC GeoMate, clear the OK. We're gonna go in and open it, and we know that this particular one is Octopus 30 new. So far so good. It still says 19 warnings. That can mean there's 19 points,
Just
not points,
continuous.
but angles of cuts that it might stop at. We'll see. But in a perfect world now, you can see,
Stopping meaning you have to push to continue?
correct, correct. Meaning it's going to stop as an error cut. And if it stopped right here, let's just say, we would basically tell it to start right here, and it would cut right through that error, which you'll see.
Cool.
So now we would literally have to go in here and change all these cutouts. What we're gonna do to make things easy is just go to leaders, and we can see that these are called straight midline leaders. So we know that we're looking for straight midline leaders. It's currently at 200 thou. We're gonna change it. That one looks like half would barely be in it. We're gonna go to 050 with an 05 lead out. I'm gonna click OK, and for some reason, okay, there it is. So there they are, they've changed down. Now these are called corner leaders.
Okay.
So now we're gonna go back in, and we're gonna go properties, leaders, same place. Corner leaders, you can see we have it at 450 thou. We're gonna change that down to, corner leaders I like being a little more. We're gonna go 100 thou. Lead in, 100 thou, lead out.
Okay.
And now we have changed these corner leaders down, and not quite enough. Unless we wanted to move it, you could change it. The buttons are 6, gives you an arc. Highlight the area. 7 will change it to a straight midline leader. Highlight the area. 8 will change it to a corner leader, which it doesn't find a corner there, so it's kind of coming off the vertex. There's your corner, because it's a point.
Right.
So I wouldn't leave the corner in there. I would put probably just, especially because I know what you guys are doing with it when you're done, I would throw some midline leaders on these.
Okay.
There's a corner leader, and that should be the only one on the entire profile, because that's where it's going to traverse back, blast in, cut it out, and walk out, and the part's done.
Yeah.
And it automatically knows to cut all your interior stuff first before it releases the part.
Okay.
So we're just going to go through here, quickly throw these things up. And the second I find one where, see how now that leader comes out of that part?
Yeah.
That's one where you would want to pay attention. But remember, once you nest these, once you've mapped out the leaders and you save it to NC console, that file will never need to do this again unless you change the size or change the drawing or whatever else.
Yeah, when you change the size, it's only concerned if you get smaller.
Nope.
No?
No matter what you do, if you change the size, you have to remap it out. So if you change this 1/4 of an inch in X, you still will have to remap out that whole new file and save it to NC console. And now you have one that's 1/4 of an inch smaller, mapped out in NC console. You can just open and cut. But any change of the size, like if you wanted a 10-inch octopus, you're gonna have to map out your 10-inch octopus, save it as a 10 to NC console. If you want it in a 24-inch, you map it out again, save it as a 24.
Okay. Dave has similar issues, although he just has to remap a few, most transfer, I think. But I could be confused on that.
So these I'm just kind of
So what
positioning
buttons
where I
are
like
you hitting here? You're selecting the...
If you just select the entity, it's going to move whatever it had. You can see this automatically assigned a corner leader. I'm going to change it to a midline leader.
Because by pushing
and I'm just
7.
moving. I just don't like these being over here because we know it's going to pierce there and it could put overspray into this. So I'm just going to move it to where there's clearly open area.
Now you're not taking... Oh, okay.
I'm literally just moving. Like this is a corner leader. That's how I read it. I'm going to change it to a midline leader. Rather than go back, you could change the size down, but remember that changes every corner leader on the whole file.
Right, okay.
So I'm just going to, again, highlight the area. Your 3 quick buttons are 6, number 7, and number 8. That's your arc,
6 is the
midline, corner, which you can't find a corner in this particular piece.
6, 7, 8.
Again, select the area, hit 6, 7, or 8, and then you click the area where you want it to be. So select the area, 7, put it right there. And then if you just want to move it, you don't have to click 6, 7, or 8. You just move it. One click. The next click moves it with it.
Okay.
This one's big, I'll throw an arc. Here we're starting to see, the second I find one where a straight midline leader does not put us where we want it, I'm going to change the length of the midline leaders. one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to jump the gun, go cut your whole file and realize, oh shit, look at that arc coming right out of the eyeball. So you just have to just take your time and go through and look at every entity one time and make sure it's good.
Make sure now it knows which side to put it on because of the continuous nature of the element.
Yep. In here I'm going to throw some arcs just because they're bigger spaces. Corner, that one's technically okay, but being that it's that
really
close, I'm
yeah.
going to change it to probably that.
Why did you put it there instead of the big arc?
Here? You
No.
can put it there, you can throw
there
arc,
or the other side.
wherever you want.
Yeah.
Whatever makes sense to you.
Okay.
Literally anything. The only thing I don't like doing is I don't like throwing a line right at the point, because now think about it's traversing back, stop at the line up, and you're just going to end up chicken scratch. So just throw it in the middle of a nice clean arc or a line or whatever. I'm actually going to put that. Straight line. Even our arc's good, but I'm going to change that just to make it easy. Throw an arc on that.
So the straight line is straight line into the cut, make the cut, complete the cut,
Yep.
and come out on that same line.
Correct. And you can change the lead in to be shorter and the lead out to be shorter, whatever you want to do. I always keep them the same length.
Oh.
So you could tell it
One side is shorter
100
than the
thou
other.
in, 250 thou out, if you wanted to really just finalize that cut. You know what I mean? What you get differently there, I don't know. I never do it, but it does give you that option. You could just simply go
Interesting.
properties, toolpath, leaders.
That's just cutting into
You could make
scrap
this
anyway.
0.5 for your lead in radius and 0.25 for your lead out. And now you can see what it did. There's your short lead in, and this particular thing is too big, so it comes way out. But you could alter that. I'm just going to go back and change them. And remember, it does that for
0.25,
everyone.
not 0.025. Okay.
There's a perfect example.
Yeah.
So you can change everything, but just remember it changes all those leaders in the file.
Everywhere.
And then very easy to go back.
So this is telling it how to
Ignore
cut
that.
each element. It's not telling it what order to cut though. Is that right?
Correct. And I'll show you that in a second. There probably is a way you can tell it which to cut first, but because it automatically knows to cut all inner entities, such as detail cutouts, before profiling the part and releasing the piece from the sheet, I've never tried to tell it what to cut first. I've never felt the need to have to.
It knows
Control
to
that
not
much.
traverse cut pieces.
It knows to not cut the profiling of the entire part out until every piece of detail is
right.
cut.
I understand that, but it's not going to sit there and go back and forth from one side to the other.
No.
It's going to start somewhere
And just kind of fall on.
and it's going to do a logical cut
It's gonna interpret the quickest path
through all
for the most part.
the elements.
The only time you're ever gonna see it is if there's like 3 holes here and 3 holes here. You're never gonna notice the difference with 100 piercings.
Okay. What is that thing?
My question is,
that's-
what is that?
Yeah, that's what I was.
That
Looks like
that's an error line.
it's not even.
The only way to fix that is go back to the drawing, which means we have to remap every single pierce all over again.
Oh,
So if there's an error in the drawing and you don't find it till the end, you got to redo everything all over again. Where was that one? Right there.
so can you delete it, or we just accept the cut
I'm actually wondering if
that's really there?
I mean, you can't delete it in this. This is only a mapping program, so your only option for that is either catch it before it comes over here to cut that and not
Okay.
let it cut it at all. Which for this one I say we do, because
Yeah,
if that wasn't there, I mean, I don't think we've missed anything. So I say we just don't
This-
cut it.
Oh, and you can remove it.
This one, I'll just basically it's going to traverse from this line or this line or this line or this line or this line to this line.
Right.
I'll stop it before it gets to it, and I'll pick up on the exit. You see what I mean? So I won't let it cut that entity. I'll stop it and I'll go to the
Okay.
exit out of it.
Alternatively, we could cut whatever is there. There'd be a slice in the aluminum, which we could clean up with a file,
Correct.
if it were not,
Correct.
if the shape were acceptable.
It's 18.75 to 18.83. It's a 16th of an inch. So I think it'll blend right in. So we'll just cut it.
Yeah.
Sound good?
That's where I was headed. And if he doesn't like it, he'll just
he'll never
He'll
see
tune it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking that, but it does depend what size it is. He's cut this one in 48, and it's big. We're cutting this as 30. Is it 30? Did we check that?
This is 30. See
Okay.
down here. And
29.
always check your starting point just to make sure it is truly 30. There's 0 roughly, and there's 30 roughly.
Okay.
And
Good.
likewise, our lowest point, you can always check by jumping. We got a -2 thou. Here we're 24, so we can conclude that this is our lowest point. So we can go, here's our 0, and the height, if we check this with our y, is 10.7. And if we check over here, our highest point is 10.7. So it's a 10.7 by 30-inch file.
Guys.
Okay, let's just jump back in here. Just double checking everything has a lead in and a lead out.
So NCGO mate is strictly to produce the .nc file,
Correct.
and that's just putting leaders in. Is it? You say there is a way to
Yep.
do change order of cut?
I think there is. I've never looked for it, but I guarantee you up in these options, probably properties, maybe even in properties, there's probably a way to go through it.
Okay.
You could probably, there's got to be an NC GeoMate book somewhere. Somebody's got to have it.
There is.
I don't know that you'll ever even care to look into it, to be honest
Got
with you,
it.
because I've never done it. And
But this process has to be completed for each size.
each size, each
or
drawing.
any modification to the drawing. Any modification to the drawing.
Any modification. Literally, if we go in and change that line, we have to redo it.
Yeah, okay. So, well, it's going pretty smoothly. I'm watching you here. You can do this whole file in what, 10 minutes?
Yeah. And this is a lot of
This
pierces.
is a big file as far as complexity goes.
See, like if you didn't catch this and you went to cut it, you can imagine what it would leave.
Yeah, it would be a mess. Looking thing. That was interesting.
Just changing some of them. Like when they put a good corner leader, I'm okay with it. Like that's super clean.
Yeah. So that's how critical it is that all these
okay.
elements be connected
Look at this one.
lines. And this proves to us that the point removal did not confuse
Correct.
the software.
Correct.
So it is considering them connected lines and segments and parts.
The only thing I don't know is if this is distorted in any way. Just because I don't know the color, but it looks smooth.
Yeah, it looks great.
All right, so final look over. You look as well as I look to see if you see anything.
There are so many little tiny things
I
here.
know.
But you can see each one. It's very clearly. And if we miss one, it could result in a bad cut.
Yeah,
Like if
a
leader,
hairline. I
yeah,
mean, would probably never be noticed on something like this, especially because you guys are finishing them.
yeah.
But
It would add character.
there.
But
Yep.
let's not.
making it a one-off.
Yeah. It's like my cracked iPhone. Why do you want to fix it? It's unique. Nobody's got one like it in the world. Is there one?
Everything looks good.
And it knows the perimeter cut. Is there a lead-in indicated on the perimeter? Yeah, that
Yep.
was over there,
Yep,
wasn't
I'll
it?
show you in a second.
Yeah, I know. You're going through each of those.
And then again, once you've saved it, then it's in your NC console file. You don't ever have to go back and do this if it's a good file.
Okay.
All right, so I think we're good, and here's our lead into the profile.
Got it.
And the other thing we're looking for is that there's not another one. And the way you can always check is, I don't know what this thing is. Let me get rid of this. It must be on a.
In the CAD program, I always find myself in some kind of weird mode. I don't know. I just hit escape a couple times.
So if you were to highlight, you can see it highlights
I
the
got
whole
it,
profile.
yeah.
If I went to click that and it didn't highlight,
You'd know there
you
was
won't
something.
be able to find a lead in, and the reason why is there's a gap somewhere in that
Somewhere,
line.
yeah.
When that happens, which it's gonna happen a lot. You go right here, which is, it should say animate display. When we go here, and we click it once, and we go fast forward. Let's see what it says. Fast forward. This is basically the path it's gonna take. So we know this is the last cut. The question is, where's the first cut? It's right here. So this is gonna be our home. It should be a 0, 0 when we look, so close enough. That's our 0, 0. Here it's gonna come in and go boom, 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 and then you can literally follow it all through the path.
Why does it take the liters? Go to zoom in on one of those.
It's showing you a gap there, but
Oh, because of the
let's look.
the diameter of the cut.
Correct. So
And so
here's
it knows-
0.7616, and here's 0.7646. There's your 30 thou kerf. And I'll show you
Gotcha.
where you can alter that. Again, options, properties. You can come in here and here's your tool path, and right here is your tool diameter.
Got it.
If you were, the good thing is you guys are doing your own stuff. I do my own stuff. I know that tolerance is not an issue. I can tell you right now, you don't have to worry about tolerance.
Right.
But if you were cutting a job and you really had to hold 10 thou, five's a stretch for a water jet, 10 thou, 15 thou, as your nozzle gets older, you can go
Right.
in and change this to, well, now it's a 35 thou instead of 30 thou because of the wear. And then you can do a test cut. I always test cut a circle, and then I mic out the circle.
What?
And I dial it in, and then I cut the whole file.
Okay.
So basically what you're doing here is, if you tell the tool diameter is bigger, it comes closer to the line.
Well,
If you tell the tool diameter is smaller,
I'm with
Yeah,
you.
go on.
I'm just thinking of what is it that has worn? The nozzle?
yes. Because as you run abrasive through that nozzle, I'll show you.
Right. It gets worn. It gets larger. And when do you know the orifice is worn out?
The orifice is worn out when you get a spray coming out of the tip of the nozzle. It just opens up. You'll know it. It'll instead of being this, it'll be, you wouldn't be able to cut. So here's the difference. So this is what it'll end up looking like after a while of cutting. It'll get all oblonged and bigger.
That's not trash in there. That's just the hole has been distorted.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep. And then there's the new one.
Oh my goodness.
So that's your brand new 30 thou. And this is what it'll end up.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll see you guys doing your own stuff and not having a tolerance. You'll see that you guys are able to use older ones for
yeah.
longer.
Yeah.
And they're carbide, so you can scrap this carbide. But
Scrap as carbide?
yep,
What does that mean?
carbide scrap is like $10 a pound.
Okay.
Not even 30 cents. Something like that. 12 bucks, something like that. I've never scrapped them, but I may as well tell you, you guys might save them. You're not going to go through them that fast.
No, I don't think so.
I think I probably average 500 hours cut time per nozzle. Probably close to that. 350 to 500 I probably get out of each one because you can change the kerf. You'll cut a little slower, but very minimal. You're gonna like the cutting slower for certain clients because it'll give you a better cut. So anyways, we're back to 30, very important. And now we're gonna go ahead and save this guy as,
It's an NC file. Okay.
and now basically I just have a folder, custom jobs, and as you can see, I put everything in here. So Octopus 30, new. I like to put my height as well, so times
Yeah, I was doing that too.
10 points. And they don't like decimals, but I'll just put 30 by 11, new, close enough.
Because it tries to treat that as an extension. That happened to me.
And you're not going to change any of this. It should automatically be loaded as an NC file, and that's what you're saving. And here's the folder it's going into. And then I go into NC console. I don't know what that is. We're going to go open, custom jobs, and we know we're looking for Octopus.
What are those huge lead-ins?
Yeah,
What's going on there?
yeah, that's our old file. So now we should see a nice clean. Boom.
Oh man, that's pretty. You can actually.
Now, I will say that looks weird. Let's go see if I'm just crazy.
Oh, because it should have the dark line.
Where is that? Okay, so that's right there. Oh, well, the good news is,
It's there.
looks pretty close.
What-
I hate I don't know his drawings very well, so let me look at that hole right there, which is this. Looks good, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's pick one more area. and
Oh,
compare it.
the drawing looks excellent.
Let's check all this.
What are you turning on and off when you do that?
I'm just opening the I'm going from NC Console to NC Geomate, just so I can compare
Got
the
it.
actual
Got it.
cut and make sure it's not distorted. Like now I'm gonna look at this area right here in comparison.
So
That's perfect.
So in Geomate, NC Geomate, you're seeing what should be the finished line, and then you see also what is going to be the cut line.
Correct.
And the cut line will result in the finished line as long as it's cutting on the proper side of the line.
Correct.
Because of the width of the curve.
Correct. And I would guess that our distance, if we go to a straight area, should be 15 thou difference. So 14.4, it should be 14.25. 14.4, okay, hold on, 14.402. Yeah, it should be 14.417. So there's our 15
thousandths, yeah.
on the other side of the line,
Got it.
taking us right to it.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
Looks good.
So now we go back to our NC console where we're ready to cut it. God, something just looks weird to me. I'm just not used to his artwork, but I like it. One last set.
Oh, it looks really nice.
Yep. Yep, should be it. All right. So now we load a sheet. Is this
right.
the one we need to cut?
We need to cut one. Yes.